Welcome to the Hartselle Football Coaches Show. I'm Margaret Ann Prater alongside head coach Bert Newton, and this show will be aired weekly on our YouTube channel, and it's at Hartselle Tigers Channel 1984. That's where you can find us, but we're on YouTube. And then make sure to tune in every Friday night to the NFHS guys. I think they're even airing pregame shows now, so give it a look-see. Before we begin, we got some sponsors we want to thank. Every time we got Eddie Pruitt Ford, Agency on Main, Heck Funeral Home, Coleman Regional Medical Center, and of course, Life Church. Coach, before we begin, we did not do a preseason show.
Right.
So I saw some people that I hadn't seen before out on that sideline. You want to tell us who's joined their staff, where everybody's moved, what's going on personnel wise?
Okay, so as far as our coaching staff?
Yeah.
All right, so, our guy that called our plays last year got a head coaching job, and he took, our defensive line coach with him. And, so we lost, our D-line coach and lost our offensive play caller. But we kept our offensive coordinator in Matt Prater, and so we kept the same offense. And after looking at, and interviewing several people, I decided the people I was talking to, we had someone in our building that might could do it, this just did her better. He just never done it before. And that's Brant Lake. So we promoted him to be the offensive play caller, and he's done a phenomenal job. The other night, the patience he had as far as in the second half, when you're calling plays, you want to score points, right? That's I think you want the big points, you want all that kind of stuff. You want it to look right and everything. But at the end of the day, at halftime, we decided they can't win this football game if we run the football, because we're going to take possessions away from them in the second half. So numerically, if we can run the football and stay on the field, they have to have four possessions to beat us. And really five unless they go up to it, tough one time. So anyway, and that's exactly what we did. We came out, we ran the football and had 8-minute drives, and we only scored 7 more points, but we literally controlled the game. The defense only played 36 snaps, and Bob Jones got the ball twice in the second half. So that's about as dominant a performance. And like I said, him calling his first game and having that kind of discipline to not try to score, and then us turn it over or throw in complete pass to stop the clock was the difference in us us having no chance to lose the game.
I thought cool hair. Have you seen his new dude? He's got the side shape.
He's much cooler than me. There's no doubt about that.
Cool hair.
It's everybody in my family, including my family, would definitely say that. Yes.
Okay, we got Coach Lake. Who else we got?
Oh, and then so John Rogers went from H backs. He does our junior high slang program, from H backs to D line.
Okay.
And then Wade Miller went to linebackers, and Coach Cole's coaching the outside linebackers now.
And
So
we got one of Austin's guys.
yep, that's Keith Rogers, and he's a Hartselle guy. He's from Hartselle. Went to school here, so he's not an Austin guy. He was just there for a year.
Oh, I was talking about Paxton.
I'm about to get to him.
Oh, okay.
Next up is Paxton Montgomery is our quarterbacks coach, and he's done a good job, and that showed the other night. So glad to have him. And so it's having a fresh staff, it's kind of tough, and you kind of whatever. But I really enjoyed it because I feel like those guys, watching them go through the process of buying in and becoming a part of the Hartselle system has been pretty impressive.
Yeah, it seems that they gel pretty well. You had a pretty good crew out there. Let's look at the game. 35-6, 35-6, excuse me. On paper, we talked about this off camera. It didn't look after, you had some OTAs that didn't go your way. You had, some questions coming into this season simply because you lost 27 seniors who were not only athletes on the field, but they were the leaders off. They were the leaders in the weight room, all that. So you got all these new, fresh faces, but you come out there and you get a hold of a now 618 and you just stick it to them. So, how did y'all flip the script like that?
I think it's just hard work and buying in and seeing the guys before them and the guys before them, the guys before them that are just mentally tough. And, I think that's the biggest thing is and then buying in, we had a lot of guys do fall camp. It's one of the few times, usually if you're not ready to kind of go there by fall camp, like you're like, oh my gosh, we got to get so much better. You're probably in trouble, but they especially start with fall camp. I thought our guys had been all in. Especially our guys on up front on both sides of the ball, and that was the difference tonight in the game. So, I think the hard work and that mental toughness, but then also the buy-in is really really there right now. So, and that showed the other night.
Well, and last year, leading off, you had a dominant win at Austin, and the quote I had in the coaches show was it was a complete game in almost every facet. Now, this game was a little different. Bob Jones helped y'all out a little bit. What did you see on film that you might be making adjustments with going into next week?
I know our sideline management stuff. We had to take 2 timeouts in the 3rd quarter. That were self-inflicted. We just our operation wasn't good, and we addressed that in that night. We also addressed it in our Sunday meetings, and we got a plan to fix that. We had 2 block kicks, the extra point, and then the field goal. Um, so that's something we can work on. And then we weren't perfect. We had some bad balls as far as throwing the ball, and we had some great ones too. But we also made some mistakes. We jumped off sides on both sides. We got to eliminate any pre-snap penalties, and so we got all kinds of things to work on. And that's my biggest spirit Sunday was I told the guys, I said, we are not there. We are not there. We can get there, but it's going to take the same exact hard work we've done for the last 3 weeks, and with the 2 weeks of fall camp, and then the game week to if we're going to keep getting better and better and better. So
I got one more conceptual, and then we'll move on.
okay.
Do you think the fact that we had so many kind of guys that didn't have as much game experience did away with those pregame jitters? You didn't see the wide-eyed looks out there. They just got out there and were ready to go, and they didn't have that experience.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
Whatever it was at work.
yeah, it did, and I think a big part of it is Hartselle and these kids in this community. They expect to win, and you can kind of laugh about it, and but they did, and so they believed it into existence.
That's great. Hey, whatever it takes. All right, we'll be right back and talk about Coleman. We'll be right back.
Better is not just a word, it's a vision. And our vision is clear and focused on you. We're helping you get better by being better every day, by seeing what's possible and making it a reality. Investing in facilities because we are fully invested in you. Updating our technology for the better and welcoming exceptional new physicians to our team. Because you get better when we get better.
All right, we're here with our defensive coordinator, Coach Moose Cole. And Coach, lots of great numbers to break down, but I noticed in this game you didn't even have to swarm to the ball like you usually do. One of the coaching philosophies for defense is somebody makes contact, then you swarm to the ball. We had 3 takeaways in game 1. So what can you say about that? I mean, that has to be on a board somewhere around here.
It is. I don't know. It's always good when you take the ball away. We were fortunate in some ways, but also I think when you play hard, like we've asked them to do, and continue to fight, continue to battle, I think sometimes those takeaways will, kind of happen, just because you're playing hard. And so that's kind of not and running to the ball. I know Jaden's interception was, Mac had a good hit on the guy, and if you're not running to the ball, you never catch that ball that pops up in the air. Just stuff that we're trying to become habit. All will result in positive things.
That's my Decker president. I was so proud. Bob Jones had 7 drives in the first half, 9 in the whole game. But I got to go through this because I couldn't believe it when I was looking at the stats. Punt blocked, interception, fumble, interception, and safety. That's how their first 7 drives went. Can you highlight a few of those? What happened? Who you thought stood out? Because that right there is all I need to say. We can shut that show down. That's what you did.
And it's just, I think, discipline and coach. We got a lot of guys that haven't been out there, and that was the kind of the worry going forward. If you call it a worry, as far as how they're going to react when things, are moving a little faster. And the first interception, Tripp was doing exactly what he's coached to do, and threw it right to him, and he caught it. And then, unfortunate, I think they had some mistakes to where we capitalize. But if that's a kind of a dream scenario there defensively with that stat line. But I was proud of them for I thought they played extremely, extremely. We weren't perfect, we weren't right a lot of times, but they kept fighting and played extremely, extremely hard for a group of guys that had not been out there. And I think good things happen when you do those things.
Well, and so where do you go from here? Because I know that, like you said, we did not play error-proof ball, or error-free ball, but we did pretty good. So how do you, when you go to Coleman, you're going to Coleman. That's all I got to say. But so how do you reposition them and get them ready to go?
They just got to keep the chip on their shoulder. I think they practice. Not just play. We played like we practice, and I'd hope that we would do that. But you never know. Different practice and being out there on Friday nights, and I hope that would translate. But our offense and defense both, like, we practice extremely hard, and it's tough and it's physical, and so I think that kind of showed up, and that's just got to continue. Everything. Our schedule. There's no off weeks. There's no off days, and so it's got to be a constant. Chip on your shoulder. Keep your edge, and that's the way that was our message to them this week for this week.
Okay. Well, I thank you for your time, and we'll see you next week. We'll be right back. Okay, I'm right here with our Eddie Group Ford player of the game. We got Maddox Southern and also Coach Gary Orr, the running backs coach. And I'm going to step off the screen, but still ask the questions because I know you can hear me. And congratulations, Maddox. Let's start here. You got a few names last year, but it was more in like supplemental cleanup time. But you're behind what they call Thunder and Lightning. That was Jaheim Pruitt and Jaden Morris. So what did you learn from watching those guys that you put into your game style or play style now?
Yes, man. From both of them, really, I learned separate things. From Jaheim was hard nosed, not much of a juker, just get what you can get and follow your path. And Jaden was also hard nosed, and he was following his path strong, but he could also juke and get outside to the boundary when he needed to. So I kind of just took that from both of them and just made sure to not try and get off of the path when the path is always there, and then get what you can get when it gets clouded or stuff like that.
Awesome. Any running back you look up to, who do you want to be like?
I've always liked Najee Harris from Alabama. I've always liked Derrick Henry. That's where I wear to. And then here recently, I like Jaden's play style, and I want to incorporate some of Jaheim's, like just hard nose, just running between the tackles and get what you can get to.
Coach, I'm going to switch up to you really quick. What characteristics does a good running back need to be successful? And then what does this guy show you that has given him such success right now at such a young age? I mean, he's a sophomore on 6A football or 5A football ticket.
Well, it goes back to from being around Coach Yahtzee to Coach Moore, and now Coach Newton and Coach Prater in here. Taking from all of them about they need to stay on the tracks we ask them to stay on, and then their vision needs to be really well. And then also, let's talk to Maddox and the other backs consistently about not getting hit in your chest or in your stomach and everything. You need to take the blows on your shoulder pads or your knee pads, because that helps you be able to break some tackles. And then that's one of the bigger things is yards after contact that we look for also. Their vision and their hard work. All three backs that we have right now, they all work hard in practice. They all listen, and they try very hard to stay on those tracks, and they try not to take blows where I'm asking them to take a. It's a process of getting them low enough. Like today when we was watching film, I pointed it out to all of them about how low Jaheim was in the Coleman game. So in this game coming up, they're going to have to get their pads down, or we may have to be down to the last back if they're not careful.
That's a good point. That was my follow-up question, was about injury, because one thing about Maddox's running style, he runs very hard. I mean, he's downhill, let's go. It's not a lot of juking and things like that. So how are we going to keep this guy healthy? What have you done in the off season to ensure what kind of training? Let's go back. Have you done in the off season to ensure that he doesn't get injured?
Well,
how possible?
Coach Prater, I think he's in charge of the weight program, so we're very specific about the things that they do to help them strengthen their muscles, and we try to make sure that they're stretched very well because they need the stretching to make sure things don't get so tight that that you're going to tear them. And I know Maddox worked through some things this summer that he had to get straightened out, and I'm glad he's well now. And hopefully, we can keep all three of them well as far as that, because that comes back to the ice baths and all the little things that sometimes they don't think about, but they have to do daily, so they're pushed very hard about their, uh, s- uh, well, they have a day where they specifically stretch and do everything to get their muscles all straightened out so that we can try to keep them as healthy as possible. And then you got to have a little luck. So, yeah.
That's true. Favorite moment of Friday night, and I'll wrap it up.
Really just first touchdown. Scored, turned around and saw Asa and Malachi and all them coming up to me, and then Big Woo in the background, always there to lift me up, just encouragement, as well as the O line, just always there to give encouragement, whether it's a bad play or a positive play. We're always just there, kind of bonding together and going through the thick and thin together. So,
It's always a family ring.
yes, no.
Okay, well, I thank y'all for your time, and we'll look forward to seeing you this week.
Peck Funeral Home is owned and operated by folks who live in the same communities they serve. Our employees are the heart of our business. The funeral home proudly employs over 30 local individuals. Currently, the funeral home is managed by Jeff Halbrooks, who has held that position for over 20 years. Our goal is simple and has remained the same now since 1929. Peck Funeral Home strives to provide genuine service from the heart.
Okay, we're here with our new co-offensive coordinator. We got Coach Grant Lake. And Coach, let's start right there. First game as co-OC, how'd it go? Pretty good. It's a pretty good day.
Yeah, I thought it went well. Nothing that I did that was special. I thought, Sunday the coaches came in and we got a plan together. We gave it to the kids and really just went out and executed it. It was really fun. It was good to see. Proud of the guys. Proud of the coaching staff. It was very fun. I enjoyed it.
I know y'all did. Preseason chatter, people like chatter and I like to listen. So we're getting a 2 QB system. Priola was hurt. Friday night, he's in the whole game just about. 9 for 14, 133 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also rushed for 31 yards. Let's talk about Asa.
Yeah, I thought Asa played huge. Has been the leader this offseason and to camp, and really both of them, both quarterbacks have been great throughout camp, throughout summer, in the weight room, as far as executing outside in practice. We just decided to roll with Asa, and he got hot, and we felt like he was, keeping us going, and his performance spoke for itself. So super proud of Asa.
Well, and I know he was inspired by my pick. So if I got to do it again, I'll do it again. Not this week. Not this week. He averaged 5.5 yards per carry with 200 and I believe it's 36 rushing yards. You had 6 different guys running. I don't want to point fingers or pull our attention to one group, but I mean, in that defensive front you face pretty daggum good, or it looked like they were going to be.
Yeah.
And y'all just ran through them like nobody's business. And I can't use the other group that we're not allowed to talk about in here. Not week 1.
Well, I can speak on them.
Okay.
So yeah, I thought Bob Jones was really good.
I want a happy Christmas at our hat.
No doubt. They had several returners coming back. Their whole defensive line, their Mike, to their free safety who, was falling in on some stuff. Like they were really good in the box. But we challenged our guys up front, and I think they accepted that challenge. And really, I mean, the carries are great, the 5.5 yards, and they get all the reward as far as the backs and the quarterbacks, and but really, there's those big boys up front. I thought they played phenomenal.
Well, some of your guys aren't big.
That's true, but they play big.
They play big. That's what
right.
we report at.
Michael Davis and Murph, they may not be big on paper, but they play big. And then the other 3 are, 900 plus pounds when you put them together. So
Okay.
they played phenomenal.
No 3 and outs. Was that game planning or was that just execution? Or, I mean, were you trying to make it high percentage plays or
So,
just kind of expound?
we're pretty heavy focused on third downs. We practice it every week, multiple times a week. But going into it, Coach Prater and I, we talked with the offense and we expressed the importance of winning at first down. So if you win at first down, it makes your second down and your third down calls a whole lot easier. So I feel like for the most part, we were falling forward on first down and we had some success on first, which led to, I think we were 8 for 12 on third downs, which is pretty good percentage. So
All right. One more question. You're off the hook. This little guy named Hartselle, he's our 80 Group 4 player of the game, sophomore. Last time I think that happened was Cole Miles. So, and you were talking about running downhill. That's your guy. Let's tell us why he was selected.
yeah, well, number one, his stats speak for themselves, but we challenged Maddox really all fall camp to kind of be the boy dog, and to carry us, and that we were going to rely on him, and really he answered that call and he fell forward. He had 0 negative runs. As many touches as he got is not ideal week in and week out, but when a guy has it going, you just keep feeding it to him, and super proud. And when you mention names like Cole Miles and, to be mentioned with him, that's pretty big around here.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I thank you for your time, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thank you. All right. We'll be right back.
Come see us at Eddie Pruitt Ford. We're a proud supporter of Hartselle Athletics.
Okay, we're back with the Hartselle Football Coaches Show. Coach, let's wrap up the show this week. We're going to talk about Coleman matchup coming up. And then, of course, we cannot forget our 80 Pruitt Ford fan question of the week. I already got that texted into me this morning. Last year's contest was game of the week, statewide game of the week. IU won 24-0 in dominant fashion. They're coming off a 4-6 season, but they won 4 of their last 5. So they finished kind of strong, had a loss last week. But it's always tough in Oliver Woodward Stadium. So what are we looking at? I know you've watched some film on them. What's coming up?
I mean, they're a typical Coleman team. They're big up front on offense, and they run the football really well. They got a good tailback. Excuse me. They got capable skill guys. They're solid on defense. They line up right to everything. They're not going to give you anything. They're going to make you earn it. And playing down there, it's the last time we were down there. We barely got out of there with the game. We had to kick last-minute field goal, and we were I think we were second in the region, and we're 1 score away from being first in the region. And a playoff team that hosted the first-round game, and we barely got out of there with the game. It's a tough place to play. Obviously, it's a big rival, so they want to beat us about as bad as anybody. And our kids want to beat them too. But something about when you're there, the home team just in this big rivalry game has this advantage, and I can't explain it, and it shouldn't matter, but it does, and we'll have to play our best to win. Their film looks really, really good. They're better than they were last year. You can tell they've done a good job with their offseason stuff, and it's going to be a battle.
Awesome. Let's get our Eddie Pruitt Ford fan question of the week. What a big rebuilding year that you had. What goes into deciding who does what? Who plays? We look, and you've talked about this, that the best athlete goes wherever you need them. So what went into the personnel?
It's not that different than every year, just that we had so many more pieces that were uncertain. That was the biggest thing. We're going to put the guys in the spot where they can, help us the most and perform their best. So, that just, and also being multiple in that, we don't ever say, all right, these are 11 guys on defense. This is who we're playing. We don't do that. Against certain people, we'll use different kids, and in certain situations we use different kids, and from down and distance to personnel to, everything. And all of it's the same way. Some games we're going to play with 2 tight ends and an H-back and 2 backs, and some games we're going to play spread. So it depends on what we feel comfortable with, and so we have a lot of different options for guys as far as fitting in the roles, and that I think we about got figured out as far as where this group everybody needs to be.
Well, and she said great win, by the way. She wanted to do that. All right. Well, we thank you for your time, and we'll see you next week.
Go Tigers.
When it comes to college sports, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, or softball, Hartselle is pretty much a town divided. But when it comes to our hometown athletes,
we are all Team Tiger, and at Agency on Main, we want to be your hometown real estate team.
Whether you're buying or selling, residential, commercial, land, or auction properties, trust the professionals at Agency on Main for all your real estate needs.
Go Tigers!